Hello and welcome to episode 41 of Battlefield 4 News, and the news is coming really fast because Naval Strike is just around the corner. So in this episode we have the official release date for Naval Strike, we have the new Naval Strike trailer, and we have a roundup of the R30 server update because there's been more notes added to that. So you'll have noticed a sudden influx of Naval Strike videos on YouTube, and that is because the embargo is up on an event that DICE held this weekend. Lots of the large YouTubers got invited to LA to play Naval Strike, and so all their footage is now appearing. And this is all to coincide with the announcement that Naval Strike will be arriving on the 25th of March. If you're not a premium member, you'll have to wait until the 8th of April. And this is confirmed here in the screenshot, which is from the premium page of the battle log. The Naval Strike trailer has also been launched today, and we can have a look at that now. So as expected, this trailer is going to focus on the carrier assault, and this is split into two sections. There's a conquest section at the start where you have to capture the objectives, have the missiles fired at the carriers to drop it down to 50%, and then there's a rush section where you've got to storm the carrier. So this is all pretty much standard Battlefield, lots of guns. There you can see the missiles firing off at the carrier and the missiles hitting. One change DICE have made is that RIB boats now have full access to everywhere, but attack boats can't get under those bridges, so they can't get into the centre of the maps, they're stuck on the outside of the maps. And hovercraft as well, they can get under the bridges. Here you can see the destroyed plane and the open section. It's not as levolution-y as I was thinking, it's literally just a hole in a plane. But on the new maps we do have storm effects, wind effects, and even the sun coming up. In terms of combat, we do seem to have a big emphasis on helicopters and boats. And here's one of the levolution elements, which is the submarine inside the sub-pen. For some reason it's hanging from the ceiling and you can drop it on everybody below. Now one thing you will have noticed so far is a complete lack of tanks and APCs. We haven't seen any footage of those, but what we do have is stationary cannons, and I mean old school cannons, medieval cannons, and great massive missile rocket launchers. So the footage is now getting into storming the carrier, and in all their modelling of the carrier they decided that what the objectives inside should look like are bog standard MCOMs from Rush. And at this point the game mode is turning into something that looks like Lockers and Metro rather than the open world. You can win by either destroying both objectives on the carrier or by destroying the carrier with the missiles from the conquest bases. And this is going to require a lot more teamwork than we've seen in other modes recently. So you're going to need to defend your carrier, attack their carrier and hold objectives. So this is a game mode I'm actually really looking forward to. Albeit a rehash of an old 2142 game mode, it is looking really good. I can see this being a really popular game mode, and we've only got a week to wait until we can see how it plays out and what the balance between the rush and conquest elements is like. So I covered the R30 update before, but now there are a lot more patch notes for it. There were a lot of hidden changes that weren't published. So originally we only got told this. We got that the AA mine had been nerfed and that you couldn't equip it with rocket launchers, and that the javelin had been nerfed and the double shot had been removed. But now we find there were quite a few other nerfs in there. The javelin damage has been reduced from 34 to 30%. This means it's gone from a 3-shot kill on a vehicle to a 4-shot kill on a vehicle. And X Factor did a video to show that it's also lost its splash damage, so it won't affect infantry around the vehicle either. So what do these changes mean for the javelin? It's going to mean that nobody uses it again, because the SRAW has much more utility, that also kills a vehicle in 4 shots, and is just better. Active radar missiles have received yet another nerf, so now the cone that they seek for enemy aircraft is changed from 5 degrees to 2 degrees. And what this means is that nobody's going to use active radar missiles. So effectively nerf the active radar missile to the extent that nobody's going to use it. They've also decreased the reload time of the flares and the ECM for pilots. So, they've nerfed the AA mine, they've nerfed the AA missiles, as you will see later, and they've increased the active protection for pilots. Did pilots really need that much more protection? When did you last see a pilot going 8 and 8? You don't. You see pilots going 26 and 4. I don't understand these changes at all. The resupply time for active protection on ground vehicles has been nerfed, however. That's gone up to 35 seconds. And again, I don't understand this because I don't think active protection is overpowered in any way. The movement speed for bullpup weapons when you're aiming down a one-time scope has been fixed. Well, it's been put to what they said they put it to last time. The CBJ PDW has had its damage increased slightly across all ranges, and that's to model its lower rate of fire. They've reduced the direct damage of the attack helicopter Zuni rockets because they were too powerful. Really, something on the attack helicopter was too powerful. I don't think it was really. They've nerfed the AWS so that it now has more side-to-side recoil, and again, it seems like they're just nerfing whatever is popular. Oh, people are using the AWS, let's nerf it so they stop using it. Ace 23 anyone? When do we expect the nerf for that? Now here's the change I really don't understand. The damage for the Stinger and the Eagler has been reduced to 35% from 45%. In the recent patches they seem to have been nerfing anti-air and buffing air vehicles. But they've done nothing about the Scout helicopter. Okay, they did a slight nerf to its cannons, but that has made no difference whatsoever. The Scout helicopter with 2 repairers is still overpowered, and reducing the damage of the anti-air missiles is just going to increase this because you now won't be able to damage it fast enough. A good jet pilot never stays around long enough for you to hit him with an AA missile. The Scout helicopter is overpowered, so the only thing I can see they're throwing all these buffs and nerfs around for is the attack helicopters, and it must be they just don't know how to fix the attack helicopter. That's the only thing I can think of. And lastly, they've toned down the helicopter flick caused by the Stingers, the Eaglers and the Starstreak. Haven't they done this already? Initially all these balance patches sounded good, but now it just seems they're throwing them around at random to experiment and see what happens. That's it for this episode of Battlefield 4 News. So we have Naval Strike coming in a week's time, and we have the new carrier mode to play around with when it does. We also have the new balances and nerfs to check out, and I'll bring you the next episode of Battlefield 4 News when there is some Battlefield 4 news. Thanks for watching.